watching SKST Radio.
Well, welcome to another episode of SKST Radio, and you tuned in to the Cammie Grayson Show, and I have a new friend today. He goes by the name of Art. Hey, Art, welcome to the show!
Thank you. What a great intro video. I love that.
Well, thank you. Thank you very
Art
much.
Bierschbach. Yeah.
Man, we've been waiting for this interview for a while, haven't we?
Yeah, we have. We scheduled a ways back, but that means I'm jumping in with somebody who's doing great and happy and busy.
Sounds good. Sounds good. So, Art, tell people who you are and what you do.
Okay. Art Bierschbach. My company is BtenConsulting because Bierschbach has 11 letters, and that was my flying nickname in the Air Force, B10. So, just a big dumb fighter pilot at heart. Your job in the Air Force is to develop those behind you. So you're always developing new leaders. So as I went through my career, and then I went to the acquisition world, and I had the team that developed what's now the F-135 engines. And then I went to Raytheon, and I got in their continuous improvement world. And I had some projects that were really great, and some were real dogs. And the difference was always the team lead. If the team lead knew how to lead change, we had a great project. If the team lead wasn't a great leader, hadn't been developed, we struggled. So it got me right back into the leadership development world. And in 2014, I struck out on my own. Started with mostly Lean and Six Sigma work, but every project is a leadership project. So I got more and more heavily into the leadership development side. And that's what I do now. I give business owners their lives back. I want the business owner who hasn't been home on time for dinner in 2 weeks. She hasn't seen her kid's soccer game all year. And let's develop her and teach her how to train the people that are with her so they do the day-to-day stuff. She does what a business owner ought to do: values, vision, culture, make sure her team have the right people and right people in the right seats. And then I'm successful when she can take her family to Hawaii for 2 weeks and leave her cell phone on the desk because she knows the business won't skip a beat.
Wow. So Raytheon, I mean, that's a very popular company.
Raytheon is a great company. I love being part of that team. But I went to Raytheon Aircraft, and they sold out to the business leaders and went back to being Hawker Beechcraft. And they just didn't want to get on board with the things Raytheon was doing to be highly successful. So it became time to move on and do something new. So I went to a nonprofit and did continuous improvement in small and medium-sized manufacturers and learned a ton about entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, mama businesses.
Wow. So that's a big adjustment.
It was a big change, but just if you listen and pay attention to what business leaders need, you can help them at any level. But the first thing you have to do as a leader is listen.
Nice. Well, so now as a consultant, do you have like a lot of clients at one time, or are you just kind of spoon feeding the many of clients that you can take?
Yeah, I'm still digging out from the pandemic. Pre-pandemic, I did mostly larger clients, did a lot of seminars. And for me, a perfect seminar is something where I walk in with 6 or 8 hours of material for a 4-hour seminar. I cover about 2 hours of it because that means the other 2 hours we're talking about what's important to the people in the room. So for me, that's a perfect seminar. And I had a program of doing that I modified for every client. When the pandemic hit, I went to more one-on-one coaching via Zoom and doing masterminds. So a lot of my masterminds are longer term covering topics. And a lot of them, I don't know if you're familiar with John Maxwell, but he's the world's expert on leadership. He's written about 100 books on leadership. And I got certified as a Maxwell coach and trainer in 2016. So that got me a lot of license material that I can kind of piggyback on.
Yeah.
And what I love about the Maxwell team is it was so compatible with what I already had developed. So it wasn't like I was changing gears. I was just adding more material.
Nice. So now, what type of customers are you looking to secure in the future, or are you just going to be like unreachable at this point, since you do have a lot
I'm going to continue. Yeah, I'm going to continue with the smaller mom and pops because I feel like I'm adding value, and that's my mission every day, is to add value to someone.
Nice.
But they're not financially lucrative either. These mom and pops usually don't have a lot of cash flow.
Right.
So I'm kind of trying to get back into the larger businesses. And I think there's a lot of opportunity there. To paraphrase something my mentor told me, Mark Cole, who's the CEO of the John Maxwell team, no business leaders ever come to me and said, Art, I have a really big problem. I have too many really great leaders. Never happened. So
No.
businesses need to develop more leaders. Yes.
Very cool. Very cool. So Art, I am here to let people know, that your services are available and the things that you have to offer them. So any words of wisdom that you can offer if someone's looking for a business counselor or coach?
Yeah. Find someone that looks at your business kind of the way you do, but not exactly. So what am I saying? Have somebody that's not afraid to tell you the truth, even when you don't like it. But you have to be able to get along too. We have almost 40,000 coaches now in the John Maxwell team. So if you don't click with me, we'll find someone you click with. I mean, we're going to find somebody compatible with you and with where you're trying to go. And find someone who's a values match. Whether you're hiring an employee or hiring a consultant, if your values don't match, it's never going to work. So look for similar values. If I work with a heating, HVAC company, heating and cooling, they have spent their whole lifetime learning about heating and cooling stuff, learning how air conditioners work, learning how heaters work. They probably have not paid a lot of attention and gone to school for business in most cases. So I've spent my whole career learning how to develop leaders. So that's where I think we can add value and teach them to develop those leaders. And what I love seeing is, a mom and pop will have, most times, mom will be working in the office doing all the admin stuff, and pop is out there busting his rear end, installing new heaters or something all day. They have to go from that thought process where they do it all to where they bring people into the business, develop them and teach them their processes so they can independently go out and do the day-to-day work. And teaching those owners to let go, sometimes that's an issue where they have to be able to stay back and oversee multiple teams out in the field. And that's a big step for some people.
Wow. Yeah. I can imagine. I can only imagine. Yeah, it's so scary. Even, what our little bitty business, we're still trying to get it up and going. And, we just moved to a new studio, and just hiring someone to represent what we're doing. I mean, that was hard, just trying to weed people out. And so I just want to know if I did the right thing, because one lady we had, she didn't fit, and so I think
what I see over and over is, in the rush to get a warm body, you pick the wrong person, and that is always more expensive in the long run.
Yeah.
Always. You want to be able to hire somebody that matches your values and matches the culture you're trying to build. Cammie, you should have a real firm idea of what is the culture you want to have. You know, do you want people that just follow orders, or do you want people that look for things that need to be done and go do them? So you need to hire people that are going to fit into that future culture you're trying to build and match your values. If they're lacking a skill or two, we can develop skills.
Right.
It's really, really hard to change attitudes.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with that. I really do.
Yep.
Man, so so I'm learning a lot just listening here.
Well, good.
Because
Now, my mission is to add value.
yeah, well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You got to put me on that on that list over there, because at the end of the day, you want to be successful, right? And I think everyone needs a business coach or a consultant. I really do, because without a coach, you could be going in the wrong direction and not even realize. It might feel good.
Yep.
When people do things that's that's what do you call it, the least resistant. People will go that way. However, sometimes you have to face the bad part too. And so I think a business coach or consultant like yourself is the person to say, hey, Cammie, that's not working out, or, you don't want that image, you want something better. So I love that about what you do. And I love that you work with mom and pops. I love that.
Yeah. Yep. In the fighter world, we fly usually split apart and different altitudes because it's harder to find both airplanes. The other thing it does is this guy can see behind the other guy better and cover that blind spot behind him. So in the business world, what's that mean? Cammie, where are your blind spots?
Yeah.
You don't know. You're blind to them. So a coach can help you identify those blind spots and figure out what to do about them.
No, I love it. Absolutely love it. And so, okay, so how do you, once you find that right person, how do you continue to be the leader? You don't want to be lost and with someone that's, I don't know if you want to say the person, I love a person to bring value to my table, but sometimes you feel kind of lost if somebody's bringing way more value than what you have to offer. How do you use that to your advantage?
Communication is key. You need to be talking and you need to be listening and finding out, what does adding too much value mean in this case, and what do we do with it? So one of the things a leader has to continually do over and over is to repeat the vision. So what is the vision? Where are we trying to go with this organization? I don't care if it's a business, a nonprofit, a family. What is the vision? Where are you trying to go? And then what does it mean to add value to move towards that vision? And there may be a lot of things that come up that you can do, but if it's not focused on achieving the vision, we need to ask, is that a direction we really want to go in?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm hearing we need to make sure that your mission statement is implemented in every way, even at the process of the beginning of a new employee. Make sure that your
Right.
mission lines up with with what that standards are, and if that employee understands what you're putting out there. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's absolutely. And that goes back to the interview before you hire somebody. There should be a discussion on, on your vision. What's your vision for the company? And tell me how, one of the questions I like to ask is, if I hire you here, how are you going to fit in that vision? How are you going to help us get there? And listening to that answer is going to start to tell me a lot more about this individual's values. And I can start evaluating, is this going to be a fit?
Nice. Yeah.
And
well, that's
I don't want
reassurance.
to hire an employee who doesn't ask me any questions during the interview. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step over you there.
No. I'm just thinking out loud. That's
No, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love to hear people think. That's a good thing.
Well, you have a way of making your mind, the person's mind churn. It's kind of like, okay, so
Thank you.
now, what you're bringing, what you're telling me, it makes me think about what I've done in the past, or what, another direction I should be taking in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 2 points here. First of all, I tend to talk about how we're going to improve, and every now and then that gets interpreted as criticism. Criticize, you have a business that's up and running and exists. You're doing something right. Can we make it better? Sure. But you're doing a lot of things right. Now let's find out what we can fine tune. And the other thing is, leadership is a growth journey. You never arrive. You're never done growing as a leader. So we're always learning new things. My mentor's on the phone every Tuesday morning with usually a couple hundred of us, and he'll tell us a leadership topic and then spend hours answering questions. Do I make it every Tuesday? No. I mean, it's not possible, but
Right.
I make it. I listen to the recording sometimes, and so he's always filling me with fresh ideas and fresh information, so I can evaluate and decide what to incorporate.
Very nice. Very nice. So, Art, how does one get in contact with you if they need you?
Okay. You can go to yourbusinesswingman.com and contact me there, or art@BtenConsulting.com. And I would love to, I'll give anybody, a complimentary coaching session, 30 to 45 minutes or so, and see, just so they can talk to me and see how I operate, and they can, tell me a little bit about their business and their needs, and then talk about how I might be able to help. So, that first call is really important, and I just want to talk to people and see if I can help them. And I really believe if I can add value in that first call, even if they don't say, hey, let's do a contract, let's do a coaching for the next year, even if they don't, I've added some value, which is, again, my mission, and they may tell somebody else. They may come back to me 3 years from now. But I really believe if I just add value, it's going to come back to me, and it does.
Nice, nice. Absolutely love it. Well, I'm actually going to make sure that we have your contact information on our social platform, because I think this is valuable
Thank you.
information. And I also would like to get your permission to share with our other hosts that's on our platform. Because a lot of them,
Please
they're
do.
starting their podcasting, and we're guiding them the best way we know how. And if we can share resources like yourself, I think that would
Yep.
be ideal to continue to help them,
Yep.
grow.
I would love to. Up until now, I've worked mainly on referrals, because if somebody I've worked with in the past refers a company to me, it's probably going to be a pretty good values fit. And so I'm kind of getting out now trying to doing today, because one, I hope doing it helps people and adds value, and two, it'll get me a little more widely known. And if somebody listens to this and is totally different than what my values, what I'm trying to say they are and show they are, frankly, Cammie, they probably aren't going to finish listening to the podcast. They're going to say, I'm not a fit with this guy, right? So if I'm just open and honest and I'm trying to help people, it's going to pay off. Sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel that. I really do. Very cool. Very cool. I love what you do. I love your values. Again, I love that you help people like myself who's just getting started and don't really have a whole lot, but can use the advice and treasure, the nuggets of wisdom that people like yourself is willing to share. And that's amazing within itself, because you don't have to be here. You don't have to be sharing with my listeners, but you were here, and we appreciate that.
Big part of leadership is just showing up. Show up and make a contribution wherever you can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so I'm gonna let you go with some words of wisdom. So for a person that's trying to be in your shoes and do the same thing that you're doing, what type of advice could you give them?
Mhm. Never stop growing. Make sure you have some mentors, somebody who's going to speak into your life and help you get started in a way where you're adding value to other people. So, um, as you first get started, we have a tendency as coaches to probably talk too much. And in my mind, a perfect coaching session is where I only ask questions. Because if I give you the answer to your issue, it's Art's answer. You may or may not buy it, you may or may not try it. If
Right.
I ask you questions until you realize what Cammie's answer is, now it's your solution. You own it, you're going to implement it, and then I can do the follow up and hold you accountable for doing the things you told me you would do.
Very cool. Very cool. Art, thank you so much for being on the show. I would like to invite you back. In fact, I'm thinking we might want to get you to come on at least once a month to give us some words of wisdom.
I think that'd
If
be
you're
fun.
interested in being our
Yeah.
official consultant for the network, we would love to have you. So please
That
consider
would be
that. You don't
fun.
have to answer on the air,
Yeah.
but if you
That's
would,
okay.
just
I think it'd
consider
be
it.
fun. Let's, if we can get it scheduled, let's do it.
Okay, I
Okay.
love it. Absolutely love it. Well, thank you so very much for being on the
Yeah.
show. And guys, I
Okay.
mean, please, please, please um, hit this guy up. He has the information you need to build your business, to make the right decision for your business. And so, you can't really, I really say people can't get away without having a coach. You have to have a coach. If it's,
Oh yeah.
in every
Mhm.
aspect, you have to have a coach. I mean, I had to have a coach to get me started. You can't just do it
Yep.
from scratch. You can try, but you always have to go to someone who knows, who's been there,
Tough way to
and
go.
yeah,
Yep.
exactly, exactly. So, hey, and this is what he does. This is
Mhm.
what he specializes in getting the answers for you. So, yeah, thank you so much for being on the show.
Okay. Cammie, thank you for the opportunity. I've really enjoyed talking with you. It's been
Absolutely,
fun.
absolutely. And this is not it. We're going to do it some more.
Good. Okay.
Sounds good. Okay, guys, until next week, right
Thank you.
here,
Okay.
SKST Radio. Tell them bye, Art.
Take care.